Hello everybody, it's Doug here. In this video, I'll show you some highlights of a guided tour we took around the Alhambra in Granada in Spain during our summer family vacation on the 1st of July 2024. Because of its architectural significance and historical context, the Alhambra was designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1984, which makes it a very popular tourist attraction. Planning your visit is essential to avoid difficulties and make the most of the experience. We stayed in the town of Nerja on the Costa del Sol, which is a 95-kilometre, 1-hour drive away from the Alhambra. We booked a tour with a knowledgeable and experienced local guide, which lasted about 2.5 hours and cost approximately €200 for 4 people, 2 adults and 2 children, aged 14 and 11. Please join us as we take our tour of the Alhambra complex, including the Nasrid Palaces and the Generalife. We begin our tour following the blue dotted line on this illustration by heading to the Generalife. The name derives from the Arabic Jinan al-Arif, which has various interpretations, such as a garden of the architect or a garden of the artist. In the Nasrid period, the Generalife was a country villa that was used both as a private retreat by elites as well as a farming estate with agricultural functions. Based on the oldest decorations studied in the palace, the Generalife was most likely constructed by Muhammad II at the end of the 13th century. Panning across the eastern ramparts from our position on the lower terrace area, we can see the Torre de las Infantas, or the Tower of the Princesses, and the Torre de la Cautiva, or the Tower of the Captive. This open-air theatre, the Auditorio del Generalife, was opened in 1954 as the main venue for ballet performances in the International Festival of Music and Dance, and an extensive restoration process was completed in July 2005. Moving up onto the Jardines Bajos, or lower gardens, affords panoramic views of parts of the city of Granada and the El Partal terraced area of the Alhambra, featuring the Palacio del Partal. From here, we enter the Palacio del Generalife through the Casa de los Amigos. Continuing our visit, we soon arrive at the Patio de la Acequia, the court of the main canal. Designed as an interior garden, it draws water from the royal canal, Acequia Real. The arcing jets were installed in the 19th century, although an archaeological excavation in 1958 revealed that at one time it had 12 spouts. The court of the Sultana's cypress tree has a central pond surrounded by a myrtle hedge, and in the middle of the pond there is another small pond with a stone fountain. This patio gets its name due to the old cypress trees in the verandas, the most famous of which is the cypress of the Sultana. A 19th century stone staircase with a portico and 2 lions made of glazed pottery of Granada leads to the Jardines Altos, or high gardens, which extend from the Hill of the Sun, Cerro del Sol, to the street Rey Chico. The hanging gardens include simple vegetable beds, myrtle clumps, trimmed box hedge, and 100-year-old cypress trees. The Jardines Altos comprise fountains between the fenced flower beds, magnolia trees, fragrant shrubs, and a careful alternation of evergreen and deciduous trees which provide shelter from the cold winds of the north, and a botanical garden. The most outstanding feature of these gardens is perhaps the beautiful Escalera del Agua, with its laurel vault and water flowing down channels in the handrails. Leaving the Generalife, we make our way towards the entrance of the Nasrid Palaces and the El Partal. Now following the black dotted line on the illustration, we enter the Medina area by crossing a stone bridge over the access roadway. Walking down the Calle Real Alta, or Royal High Street, we can see several interesting features, including the Gate of the Seven Floors, Puerta de los Siete Suelos, on the south side of the wall, which encloses and protects the Alhambra. Dating from the mid-14th century, during the mandate of Yusuf I, it is built on top of an earlier, smaller gate. Elsewhere, the remains of buildings can be seen, with furnaces for ceramics, tanneries, and houses next to the internal side of the wall with its towers, partially destroyed in the withdrawal of Napoleonic troops in 1812. Before taking a break, we had a brief look inside the Palace of Charles V. Constructed between 1527 and 1637, but was left unfinished until Leopoldo Torres Balbas, a Spanish scholar, architect and restorer, devised a plan to recover the building in 1923. The roof was finally completed in 1967. The palace was designed by Pedro Machuca, an architect who trained under Michelangelo in a contemporary Renaissance or Roman style, with an innovative design reflecting the architectural ideals of this period, including an octagonal chapel. Before visiting the Nasrid Palaces with timed entry tickets, we took a 20 to 30 minute rest break at the Plaza de los Aljibes. There is a gift shop at the main entrance to the Alhambra which sells craftware and books, which I will show you at the end of the video. So the shop opposite the entrance to the Alcazaba limits its wares to snacks, drinks, gifts, souvenirs and information booklets. Unsurprisingly, richly patterned ceramics, including mugs and plates, are very popular. As you can see, a wide range of guidebooks are available in various languages, including English, Spanish, French and German. With the time approaching 2 o'clock, we make our way to the entrance to the Nasrid Palaces. As our guide Nacho explains, the QR code on the tickets allows a 1-hour entry window. This is a sensible measure which limits the number of visitors inside the complex to allow people to examine the architectural features and experience the peaceful atmosphere free from the pressure of overcrowding. Walking through the Patio de Machuca, we enter Sala del Mexuar, whose name is derived from the Arabic term maswar, the place where the surah or council of ministers met. It was also the hall where the Sultan dispensed justice. This room has undergone many alterations and modifications. Its decoration was adapted by Yusuf I and later by Muhammad V during his second mandate from 1362 to 1391. Both rulers were responsible for the construction of the two best preserved palaces of the Alhambra. Originally, it had a lantern-like central body that provided light to the inside, of which only the 4 columns and entablature have been preserved. In the 16th century, an upper floor was added, and the building was transformed into a chapel. The area today, with its Renaissance balustrade, was originally enclosed by a wall that was connected to the courtyard. This was added to the room to be used as the chapel choir. The facade of Comares building stands opposite the gallery of the Golden Room. Its construction was ordered by Muhammad V in 1370 to commemorate the conquest of Algeciras. Its ornamental composition enhances the structural distribution of the area, which is divided into 3 sections, combining patterns of golden triangles and squares, showing the evolution of Andalusian art. The facade separates the administrative and public sector from the private quarters for the royal family and their servants. The Court of the Myrtles, Patio de los Araganes, is named for the myrtle bushes that surround the central pond and the bright green colour which contrasts with the white marble of the patio. It was also called the Patio of the Pond or the Reservoir because of the central pond, which is 34 metres long and 7 metres wide. The pond divides the patio and gets its water from 2 fountains, one at each end of the pond. On the ends of the southern gallery are larders with kitchen shelves of mokarabes and the inscription, "May our master Abu Abd Allah, Emir of the Muslims, receive God's help and protection, as well as a glorious victory." Most inscriptions that appear in this patio are praises to God or to the Emir. Particularly notable among the unique features of Islamic architecture preserved at the Alhambra is the hammam, the Baño de Comares bath. Until recently called the Royal Bath, due to having been reserved for the personal use of the Catholic monarchs. Today, we know that each palace of the Alhambra had its own hammam, but this is the only Islamic medieval baths which has been practically fully preserved in the West. Taken from Roman baths by Islamic culture, it soon became an essential element in the Muslim world. We continue our visit by passing through to my favourite section of the whole Alhambra complex, the Patio de los Leones. The Courtyard of the Lions is perhaps the best known place in the Alhambra. Its name derives from the 12 lions that spout the fountain that occupies the centre of the courtyard, lions on which the large dodecagonal cup rests and which surround it. This fountain, made of white marble, is one of the most important examples of Muslim sculpture. Commissioned by Mohammed V, it has a rectangular floor plan and is surrounded by a gallery in the form of a Christian cloister, which is supported by 124 columns of white marble. The style is distinct from the typical Andalusian Muslim courtyard and similar to that presented by the Patio de los Arayanes. The centre of the courtyard was originally a low garden, and the floor of the galleries was of white marble. However, this garden has undergone many modifications over the years, and ultimately it was decided to remove it in order to reduce humidity levels. The court of the Lindaraja owes its name to the prominent open-air observation point on the southern side of the Palace of the Lion's Wall. The garden below is enclosed by the 3 rooms of the Emperor's chambers, with arcaded galleries on the ground floor making use of the columns removed from other sites in the Alhambra. The effect is cloister-like, which is further enhanced by the design of the garden, with its fountain in the middle. Made of stone from the Elvira Mountains, the base, ridge and pilaster of the fountain are Baroque. From around 1626 to 1995, the fountain had an adorned marble Nasrid basin with epigraph inscriptions, probably meant for the Court of the Lions, but which is currently kept in the Museum of the Alhambra. Leaving the court and the palace can be done through only one of 3 rooms, which also has an upper floor gallery that until recently was called Chateaubriand's room. The famous French author and politician left his signature on one of the columns that came from the Court of the Machuca, which had been demolished. Well, that's almost the end of our guided tour. I hope that this highlights video has been helpful if you're planning a visit to the Alhambra. This site was a finalist in the year 2000 campaign to nominate 7 wonders of the modern world, and is rivaled only by Machu Picchu in Peru and the Taj Mahal in India in the same era. But please bear in mind how much the Alhambra has to offer compared to some of these other sites.